A warm welcome to today's webinar. My name is Caoimhe Maloney. I'm the Events Manager with Limerick Chamber. Thank you so much for taking the time to register and join us for today's session. We hope today will supply you with some helpful means and ways for you to generate a healthy sales funnel in preparation for 2021. We ask all attendees to please get interactive in the chat and Q&A feature located at the bottom of your screens. Today's session is also being recorded and will of course be available via our website www.limerickchamber.ie and also the Limerick Chamber channel on YouTube and across our social platforms. So if you do want to share it with your network, please do so. It's my pleasure to welcome Susan Humphreys of Market Edge, who will be the speaker of today's session. The Speed Leads Blueprint, 3 lead gen strategies to attract the clients you want fast. So without further ado, I'll hand you over to the capable hands of Susan.
Thanks very much, Caoimhe. Can you hear me all right, yeah?
You can, of course.
Okay, super. Just wanted to check. So good morning, everyone. Almost afternoon, I suppose. We're halfway through the day and halfway through the week. Happy days. So thanks very much, firstly, to the Limerick Chamber for giving me the opportunity to talk to you today, and of course to Caoimhe for organising this event. Delighted to be here. So it's quite strange, actually. I can't see anyone. So all we've got is the chat box, and I can see there's some messages coming through there. It's great to see everyone checking in, saying hi. So just before we start, show me I'm not on my own. I'm a proud Limerick lady, and I'm living just over enemy lines in County Clare. So just show me, maybe put into the chat box, say hi, say where you are in the world this morning, and we'll get started. So I see Derek and Paul saying hi already. Hi guys, great to have you here. So I've actually got 2 systems on the go here, one for speaking and one for sharing my screen. So give me 2 seconds and I get everything. Mark and Anacati, Jack, Limerick, hi guys. Paul in Dublin, Jane, Limerick woman, also in East Clare. Oh, for our sins, Jane, is that it? Derek is in Cork. Big T. Is that Tony? Tony McMahon in Galway. Hi, Tony. Isabel and Anacati. Castleconnell. Yeah, so a lot of us, obviously, we're all working from home still, and making the best of of the situations that we have. But okay. So without further ado, I want to get started. I'll take you through this morning, right? It's going to take about 40 minutes to go through some of the, basically 3 of my lead gen strategies that I find to work best for generating high quality leads to your business. We'll have time at the end for Q&A. If you have questions as we go along, please feel free to put them into the chat box. I think Caoimhe is going to be monitoring them just in case I miss any questions, but we will open it up at the end for some questions. So, okay, my name is Susan Humphreys and I'm a digital marketing coach and I'm the founder of marketedge.ie. I'm in business about 18 months now, but I've been around a lot longer than that. Basically, what I do, I help business owners to clearly communicate what they do and identify what digital marketing strategies will consistently attract high caliber clients to their business. Basically, I suppose the focus of today's webinar is actually, it's more so on networking or tying that into a lead gen strategy. So I suppose in theory, the more networking that you do, the more referrals that you get, the more leads that you get to your business, and ultimately the more money you get. Happy days. So just want to do a quick show of hands, right? Just in general, on a monthly basis, how often would you network? How often do you attend networking events? So just, if you wouldn't mind putting it in the chat box, just a figure, you know, in your typical month, offline, online, how often would you go to a networking session? There's no wrong answers in this. I just want to kind of get a feel for where we're at with it and see. So BNI weekly, yeah, normally once in a month. 2 to 3 months at the moment, 2 to 3 times. Okay, twice a month. Okay. So everyone is pretty much, it's either once a month, twice a month, no offline now, maybe 2 in a month online. Yeah, so basically, I suppose, in case you're not aware, or maybe you are and just haven't really thought about it, there's literally thousands of networking events every month at the moment. And if you think, how is that? It's like, obviously we're at an advantage at the moment because we can join online. I was at a networking group last week hosted by a crowd in the US. It's just a case of time zones. But, you know, I suppose some businesses are restricted by boundaries no matter what it is. It's a logistical thing. But if you think about why you go to a networking event for starters, right? Think about basically what's your strategy. Is it simply to grow your network, to get to know more people, meet new referral partners? If that's not a familiar term to you, perhaps it is. A referral partner is someone who naturally aligns to your business goals or those who you're trying to target, and they would naturally pass referrals to you. They'd be quite often in contact with your types of clientele, but obviously it's not a competitor thing. So, like for example, for me, a typical referral partner for me would be like a web developer or a web designer. We also do a lot of business together and pass lots of business. So, or maybe it's simply to build your sales pipeline. You know, it's a sales thing. But I suppose if you think about it, if you're not quite sure why you're going to a networking event, or you're being told to go, you know, maybe it's part of your job. Just think, like, you know, there's literally endless possibilities, there's endless opportunities with networking, especially now. So I would say, like, you know, do your research, do a bit of digging into the types of events that are on at the moment, who's there, and why you want to be there. What are you going to bring to the table? What could it possibly do for you? And I would say, like, if Google is your best friend, then LinkedIn is your better other half. And really with LinkedIn, you should be, I'll talk about a little bit more about this in a bit, but from a research point of view, think about it, LinkedIn is literally, it's the largest professional network in the world. I think there's something like over 600 million users. And it's literally, it's an online CV. Everything that you have in your professional capacity is there. So it's a great opportunity to, one, seek out events that are on, use the search bar. If it's like, you know, if you want to search by industry, or you know, something like the Chambers of Commerce, BNI's network, you know, networking, what is it, the Women in Business Networks. If you think about it, all of those associations, they have regional chapters or groups. They've got, you know, there's literally thousands of them around the world. And I know for the ones that I go to, it's simply just, it's asking, is there an opportunity there to come and meet people? Or, you know, again, it depends on what your actual strategy is, but, or perhaps even you have, you know, perhaps you might have multiple strategies for why you go to networking events. But really, I suppose the point of what I'm trying to make is think about why you want to go, and who you can possibly link up with. And most importantly, no matter what you do, if you're spending time going to a networking event, one, it's like, if the word work is in there, so it's related to your business. It's not time off, it's time in. Follow up, you know, make notes of people who are there that you meet, follow up with them. I always, no matter what event that I go to, I connect with people on LinkedIn afterwards and just send them, hi, great to meet you this morning. Would love to meet for a virtual one-to-one or a virtual coffee if you feel like it. And it's just a nice way, one, obviously, of building your network, but two, you'd be surprised what opportunities could come from it. So then really, if you think about it, right? So once you know why you're going there or what your purpose is, think about what you actually say. And like, it's really important that you get your message clear, right? And so that brings me on to my first strategy, which is I'm always blue in the face by talking about your message and being clear on your message. But if they, like, what do you say when you meet a person or you send that opening line to an event organizer? You know, even put yourself in the shoes of the other person when you have met someone at a networking event, or even if you even take out networking and just looking at it from a marketing point of view, when you see things online, what attracts you to do something, to take action, to register for a webinar, to attend an event, or to actually follow up and have a virtual meeting with them or a physical meeting with them? What did they say, or what are you saying that's going to hook them in? And I'm not sure about you, but in a lot of cases, I find that people explain an awful lot about what they do, rather than just simply saying, like, you know, for me, I help business owners, right? Sometimes that changes to I help entrepreneurs. That could be business owners in the tech industry, depending on the audience that I'm in front of. I'll start with digital marketing coach or consultant, whatever that aligns to my audience. It's clearly saying, you know, what the type of service that I have, who I want to talk to. And then in a nutshell, briefly what I do, help them with the digital marketing strategies and clearly communicate what they're doing. But quite often, I suppose, people will think about, or they'll start to say, they'll explain a project that they're working on, and the other person starts to glaze over, and it's like, oh, okay, lovely. They go away and they think, and they can't naturally refer you then, unless it's very obvious. And, you know, if you think about going back to the whole point of, if you're at a networking event, make it work for you. Make it work for you for whatever reason that it is that you're there for. If you're looking for referral partners, make sure they know the type of business that you're after, the type of person that you're looking to be introduced to. If it's a sales conversation that you're having, if you're going there to simply to try, you know, that this is an ideal market for you, and there's a conference on that you have an opportunity to speak at, and you think these could be, you know, these are right up my alley, they're my target audience, then, you know, you need to make sure that your message is snappy enough. It speaks exactly to the problem that you're really solving. And rather than just say, you know, if you, I suppose, I'm trying to cast my mind back to some of the posts that I would have seen, you know, it could just be, you should buy this because blah, blah, blah. And you think, that's, you know, one, that's not how I look for information. It's not how I respond to things. People think if they're being sold, you know, using like a sales pitch, people tend to get their back up and glaze over, and it's end of conversation. Also, if you're not clear on what you're doing, then, you know, go with the saying, confused minds don't buy. So really, I suppose, when you don't have a clear message, you've got poor quality leads or a lack of enough leads. You're not clear in what you offer or who you're offering it to. There's ambiguity in your service offering. Like, you might have experienced this before, but there's uncertainty over entitlements. The client wants more, or they basically you weren't clear enough in what the deliverables really were, what the outcomes, what exactly it is that you're saying that you will address, that you will fix, that you will solve. And you end up giving away too much for basically not enough money. And that's quite a common pitfall that people can fall into. Thirdly, like, if you don't have a clear message, I suppose your business can get lost in the cloud of everyone else trying to everyone else trying to fight for attention online. obviously there's endless people and businesses in your space. You know, some obviously are more competitive than others. Like take my business, for example, I'm in a highly competitive market. So you really need to be clear on what it is that you do, who you're looking for. And really the solution is with distinctive messaging that stands out. And really like the power of a strong message, I suppose, if you think about it, it attracts the clients that you really want for your business. So you get the quality leads that you really look for, and it's the quality that's important in all of this. So, you know, no one wants to sort through, you know, low quality leads with no real value. You really only want to attract the ones that will actually make a difference to your bottom line. You'll have clarity in your service offering to your clients, so there'll be no more ambiguity. They know exactly what it is that they're getting for their investment, and you know exactly what your workload is as well. So that gives you your ability to scale up, scale down, and there's no more kind of unexpected hours that are just being thrown in to get a project over the line. Everyone's been clear on what it is that on what you said you'd do from the outset. And then finally, of course, your brand cuts through the noise and stands out from the crowd. You know, that's what a clear message will do for you, and it'll identify your niche and basically get you to storm through the noise with bright, bold messaging. So just while we're talking about your messaging, right, I want to do a quick poll. Take 60 seconds. Write down at least one thing you know your market wants 100%, and then ask yourself, is that actually in your message? Put that into the chat box if you're happy enough to share it. If it's not in your message, then obviously it has to be. You might want to start thinking about it. Like, let's say, just to give an example, something that I know my market wants is clarity. Something else that, you know, there's a lot of kind of mystification around digital marketing in so many ways, especially social media marketing. People aren't entirely sure how to cut through the noise and how to make your brand stand out. So that's, you know, that's one thing for me. We've got, what have we got going on? Compliance. Anything else? Our customers want control. So your dream tech systems take control. Very good. Yeah, super. Transparency and pricing. Yeah, so like that's a big thing obviously as well, is people, and that drills down into people want to know what it is that they're really getting. So obviously that's important as well. So transparency and pricing, that's great. Okay, oh yeah, that's just want to. Yeah, so that's basically that's our messaging. Moving on to value, we've got from Paul Nugent. Love it, yeah. So again, that kind of, in one way, it leads back to pricing as well. People want to make sure that they're getting good value for their money, and like, I suppose it's important not to always fall into a trap of talking about price, unless obviously, of course, that is your main strategy. But you know, you need to talk about the value that you're truly adding in comparison to your competitors. So I always say, like, don't get hung up on what your competitors are offering, but make sure that you know exactly what they are and how you're different to them, so that you can speak to that. That's one side of it, but don't forget to look on the other side, which is your audience. How are they, you know, what are the problems that they're feeling? How do they search for those problems? If you think about this as online, you know, and put yourself into the shoes of your client. Think about, how would you Google your issue? Okay, so moving on then, the next, right, so your online presence, right? So super important, obviously. This is one of the things that we're really getting into today, but A lot of people have this attitude that build it and they will come, right? So like, if you think you have it, you know, you've created your website, or you have a Facebook business page, or you have a LinkedIn business page, and you just post stuff when you think about it, or when you have a bit of time, or actually more often than not with websites, many people don't spend an awful lot of time in your website updating your content. And one of the main questions that I would ask people when we start working together is your website making you money? And if it is, how much? If it's not, why not? Because if you think about, you know, your website is like your bricks and mortar, absolutely has to be making you money. But like, that obviously requires a strategy. It requires consistency. A lot of people know that they have to have an online presence, but they don't really have a consistent plan. And that's one of the major downfalls. Like, if you think about it, marketing or anything online, Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all of those platforms, they reward effort. And the more you do, the more exposure you will get. The less you do, or the less consistent you are, then the less people that your content will actually be shown to, the less traffic that will come to your website. And that's one of the major downfalls, that you don't, you know, then your website isn't making you money. So it's important, obviously, to have specific strategies in place to drive traffic to your website. And one of those is, obviously, and it's so popular, and there's a reason it's so popular, it's piquing people's interest through mediums such as social media. And the one that I really want to talk about today is LinkedIn, for the very reason, because it's a professional network. It's a really valuable B2B tool, business to business tool. And there's huge room for scope. And really what you want to do is, with a network like LinkedIn, you have the opportunity to post articles, which are basically LinkedIn's versions of blogs, or white papers. It could be technical content. Get in the conversation. LinkedIn groups are fantastic. Private groups specifically related to your industry is what I would recommend more so to get involved in. If you're not sure of where or how to start or anything like that, it's just simply, you know, get into the platform, search in the search bar, have a look around, see what's there, see what other people are doing. Most importantly, make sure that your profile is complete in LinkedIn. And in fairness to how it's set up in LinkedIn, there's like a progress bar. It can show you, if you click into your own profile, you can see, you know, 10 out of 15 steps complete. It'll ask you, so make sure that you've got a profile picture, you've got a cover photo, your job title, your headline, and all that is updated, because obviously that's really important to make sure that people know when they're searching for you. And so that's where you're establishing your credibility. You're establishing yourself as a thought leader. If you think about it, you're the expert in your field. You're the expert in what you do, what you offer. And so it's your name, you know, it's your name first, your business name second. Your business name, then it drives them to your website, where hopefully you'll hook them in with more engaging and higher kind of educational type content, such as your blogs, your articles, and encourage people to sign up either to your mailing list if you have one, or book a call with you, book a consultation call. I want to do, so I had laid out a little exercise here, right? But I actually want to do a slightly different exercise. Now, you can't quite do it with, well, I won't be able to see your results, but if you take out your phone, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to stop sharing for a second, right? And I'm going to open up a private or an incognito window on Google, and one sec now. where did that? I'm after losing show all windows. Google Chrome, there we go. Okay, so I'm in incognito mode in Google, which basically means that Google doesn't know that it's me that's on it. It hasn't profiled my name or my business name or anything like that. So I would encourage you to, you can even just do it in Google. You don't have to do incognito mode, but I'm trying to prove a point here. And I would say, Google your name. If you haven't done it before, Google your name and see where you come up. So I'm going to type in, so let's say Susan Humphreys. Oops, I can't even spell my own name. Okay. So first and foremost, I'm a Canadian figure skater, which is good to know. Something I can fall back. Oh no, I'm retired, never mind. But see here, in the third search result, it's me. It's actually the second search result because that's just images. Second search result, it's my LinkedIn profile. Susan Humphreys, Managing Director, Market Edge, right? Here is that's my title, or that's my headline, whatever you want to call it, in LinkedIn. Susan Humphreys, Digital Marketing Coach, right? I've got my business name, and then other things related to digital marketing, of course. But so just do that while we're talking. Google your own name, see what comes up, see where you rank in this. If you have a LinkedIn account, is it showing up there? If not, you know, as you go down, obviously there's more, there's Facebook and stuff like that. But if you're not showing, or if you can see that there and you're not entirely, it doesn't reflect either your job title or your industry or who it is that you're really targeting, then you need to think about changing that, making sure that you have relevant information. Just on a thing, if it's, so as I say, people first, people do business with people, and then it's your business, right? So if I do Market Edge, right? Now I know this, right? So you've got marketedge.com. They're a stock market company based in the US. They're around a long time. So they show up first for Market Edge, right? But then, so I've got me then, marketedge.ie. Again, there's a few kind of mixed things. If someone's looking for my business, I always say when I'm introducing myself or anything I talk about, you know, my business name's online is marketedge.ie. So getting that message out there. If you put in marketedge.ie, got my website coming up first, then the Facebook business page, my LinkedIn page again, Instagram, Twitter. So I've taken up, just on that, I've taken up the first page search results, which obviously is, that's good for me. But, so I'm going to stop sharing that now for a second, go back to my presentation. But just, so you don't have to share the results, right? But, how do I get back into, oops, sorry. I've lost how I share my screen for this again now. Give me 2 seconds. I swear I'm professional. Okay, so back in, oh yeah, okay. So yeah, so as I said, you don't have to share that in the chat box, but just think about, you know, if you're not showing up, then, and obviously you want to be showing up because I'm assuming that's why you're here. Then, you know, really think about how you can complete your profile, how you can start pushing your message out there more so, and getting in front of more people. And one of those ways, LinkedIn, of course. Think about your networking and be consistent in the type of message that you're actually sharing with people. And Paul, my name seems to be more popular than I thought. Yeah, it's interesting when when you Google yourself, like the amount of people that come up for that. And let's say, Paul, you know, afterwards, Paul, I've met you at this event, and I thought, okay, actually, what did Paul do again? And I Googled your name, Paul Nugent. And I'm like, okay, no, there's loads of options for that. I might put in Paul Nugent and then your business name. Sorry, I don't actually know what your business name is. And then results will come up. Hopefully, if you are on LinkedIn, I know I keep talking about it, but that's where people connect. You're not going to connect through a website as such, but you're going to connect through LinkedIn. Hopefully your LinkedIn account comes up, and at the very least, have your profile picture there. So then I know, oh, that is Paul that I met. That's the guy that I met. That's the one that I want to connect with, because there could be 20 Paul Nugents on LinkedIn. So yeah, I'd say just follow the steps, complete your profile, and also, you know, complete your headline as well. Make sure that your company name is up to date. If you've got, actually, this is one just to note as well, right? If you've got a few employees, make sure that you're all linked to the same company. So let's say if I've got someone else working for me and they put in Market Edge, but I've got marketedge.ie or I've got Market Edge comms, then they don't all register as the same business. And you think, how does that make a difference? But it actually does. Again, when people are searching, think about, like, everything that you do online is compounding and it builds. So the more that you get consistency in what you're doing, then obviously that helps with your results. So Paul, you were 6th. Okay. Aiding LinkedIn, obvious choice, but many clients are only active once a week and it seems to take longer to build followers. Any advice? I'll come back to that at the end. That's a great question. Okay, so just moving on then to the third one, which is nurturing, right? So there's quite a lot in this, but on the basic side of things, like, think about nurturing your audience, right? And this kind of goes back to you're the expert, you're the knowledgeable one, or you're supposed to be the knowledgeable one. So think about how you can create content that actually educates your audience. If you're supposed to be the expert in what you're doing and you're hoping that you'll attract clients, then they're coming to you because they've got a need. They've got a problem. So you need to speak clearly to that problem and think about how, you know, what they're experiencing, the type of issues that they're actually having, and how the type of content that they would respond to. It can be a bit of trial and error in the start, but if you think about, like, not every lead that you have or not every connection you have is going to turn into a sale, but it doesn't mean that they never will. So quite often, you know, with permission, of course, people will add you to their mailing list. Again, it's not selling, you're just sharing good content, sharing your knowledge. Stop pushing the sales pitch. Another thing that, you know, that's really good, again, with LinkedIn, just to kind of push that, and even at networking events, like, join in on the conversation and share your knowledge. Again, don't patronize. If you think something is obvious to you, it may not be to another person. So just, you know, in a lot of it, watch your tone. But yeah, and just obviously be mindful of the fact that everything you do online can be seen, can be found. It doesn't disappear, despite what people might make you think, but it doesn't disappear. And comment and write content with that in mind. A pitfall that people can often fall into especially in Facebook, you could have a personal Facebook page and a business Facebook page, and you see something controversial, or you have an opinion on something that's maybe political or something like that, and people start bashing about it online. Don't do that with your brand. Keep your values to yourself. If you want to kind of take part in that type of thing, just make sure you're not doing it from your company point of view, because that obviously can be quite damaging. So yeah, when, like, in your nurture strategy, right, and you're thinking about your networking and your referrals, think about how you can add value first. Leverage your referral strategy. So that basically means, like, if you go to an event and you meet 20 people, and there might be a couple of people that you've met in that, and you think, actually, I know, someone that you might want to talk to, or someone who might want to talk to you, and you put them in touch. That should nearly always be your kind of your first port of call when you're networking, because it's giving rather than trying to take all the time. And it's of the mentality of pay it forward or giver's gain. So, leverage your referrals, and only genuine ones, of course. There's nothing worse than getting a cold call that, that just wasn't, there was no connection made, or there was no genuine opportunity. So just keep that in mind. Here's one, right? So so like this, where we've got the chat box available. It's not available in every networking event that you'll go to, but they'll generally give you options. But share your contact details and have them ready to paste into the chat box. As I say, I always connect with people on LinkedIn afterwards. Always follow up with a personal note. You might forget someone's name, or they might have forgotten your name, but it's just nice to say, hey, lovely to meet you this morning. Would love to connect here. And that's it, right? What I do in situations like this, right? I have a sticky notes pad on my computer where I have everything saved. So basically it's the link to my calendar. So, if people want to book an online meeting, I have my LinkedIn page, my Facebook page, all my contact details just ready, so I can just copy and paste it into the chat box, and it's just easy. Then you're being consistent in what it is that you're sending to people. But just something that a lot of people don't actually quite realize is, if you don't put HTTP and colons in front of the link that you're sharing, then it won't become a live link. So what I would say is, even you can do that here in the chat box now. You can share your details with people. I think you can save the chat then afterwards, and link with people afterwards. Generally as well, when I go to a networking event, I'll also have an Excel sheet open, and I'll take note of those contact details that have come through, and I'll again follow up with them primarily on LinkedIn. I use it I wouldn't ever start emailing someone or add someone to an email list without their permission, because that's just it's not good practice. Okay, so just finally, I kind of want to finish up on this, right? So with your networking and speaking gigs, obviously do your research. So like there's literally thousands of events on each month. There's ones that are industry specific, job specific, could be related to you or related to the audience that you're wanting to speak to. And reach out, have your notes ready, have your message ready, reach out to the organizer, brief introduction, why you want to join, how you can add value. Sometimes you might get a response back. Doesn't mean that they don't want you there, or they weren't, it just, they could be out of the office, could be any reason really. What I also do is to just have a look on Facebook, because most of these organizations, they have a Facebook business page as well. So I follow them, like to see, typically what the kind of interactions are in there, and, same on LinkedIn and stuff like that as well. But just see how active the group actually is, because some obviously are more active than others. Some have better reputations than others. So it's important, if you're going to spend time doing something, make sure you choose the right ones to go to. And yeah, after each event, connect, invite, get to know them a little bit better. And yeah, so, okay, that's 40 minutes. So quick recap, obviously in the last 40 minutes, just looked at research networking events, consider why you want to attend. Think about your message, right? Craft your powerful message, speaks to your audience, immediately identifies your value add. Make sure to obviously develop your online presence, because consistency is key. And nurture your contacts, follow up, but don't spam. one thing actually that I didn't put in there is just in the nurture strategy, this also relates to existing customers. If you think about it, like your existing customers are probably the most valuable asset that you have to your business. So, you know, like celebrate them, right? Give them exclusive discounts or thank them, or, you know, just lift them up, you know, celebrate your fans. They're the ones that they're paying your bills. They're keeping your business taken over. So don't forget them. Like quite often, I think, is it with the likes of phone companies, you know, you're almost penalized for being a long-term customer. Think about these things and don't do them. But so, yeah, so that basically kind of comes to the end of it. I'd love for everyone to connect. Here's my details. I will paste them into the chat box in a sec. But what I'd love to do as well, and I'm just going to is for everyone here today, some might be interested in kind of interested in more, learn a little bit more about this. I'd love to invite you to discovery call with me. I'll put the link to that in the chat box, and there's 7 places up for grabs on my program, so I will paste that in there. And basically what we'll do is we'll jump on a Zoom call and we'll establish where it is that you're at now, where you want to go, the types of strategies perhaps that could apply to your business, to your market. And yeah, so thanks very much for having me today. And I'm just looking to see, have we any questions? So Derek, oh, you're very welcome. Thanks very much for coming along. So I'm just going to, how do I open up? Can I stop sharing? Oh no, maybe I won't stop sharing for a sec. So just Quiva, I might ask you while I'm doing my sticky notes, because I can't multitask, obviously. If you wouldn't mind maybe pulling out any questions. If there are any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Hope that you found some value in that today. And
that was fantastic, Susan. Thanks so much. I think some helpful tips. I've been taking notes here myself. So no, it's definitely something to take note of. And also, I just said I'd pop in as well, just to let everyone know that in the Chamber, we are trying to organise an upcoming networking event as well for any of those who want to try and start any of the tips to learn today. You can book on any of our events across our website. And with the pandemic, we've opened all of our webinars like this to anyone who's a member or non-member as well, just to help with your business. We actually have a question in there from Big T. And it says, have you used any virtual or digital business cards?
Sorry, say that again now. Have we used any
virtual or digital business cards?
Actually, yeah, good question. I have one that I used when I was actually still going to physical events. I think it was CamCard. But to be honest, I kind of stopped using those, and literally what I've just done there, as you can see, right? That's what I have laid out in my sticky notes, paste it into the chat box and do it that way. But there are apps that people can use. I think sometimes with those apps, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not the expert in that regard, but I think the other person also has to have it downloaded as well for it to work. So it can be a little bit cumbersome, really. So what I would say, first and foremost, like, you know, like make things as easy as possible. Connect, just say, you know, can I connect with you on LinkedIn, or just simply connect with them afterwards on LinkedIn, send them a message, get the private messaging going, and set up a chat, or set up a virtual conversation with someone.
It's probably the personability that's really the differentiator when you are trying to reach out like that today. For any who joined today, like I was saying in the chat feature there, you can look at anyone else who attended on the registration on our website. So you can follow up obviously afterwards on LinkedIn with anyone and try to create one-to-one networking opportunities as well, like you mentioned, Susan. So they're there. It's just a case of trying to add it to our to-do lists, isn't it?
Say that again.
The opportunities are there. It's just a case of us to-do lists that are getting increasingly longer with these pandemics.
That's it, exactly. But you know what, right? In saying that, and that's actually a really good point, Quiva, because what I do, right? So everyone has their own habits of how you start your day or how you end your day or how you spend your lunch break or something like that. I put in a little calendar slot into my calendar for every morning, right? 15 minutes. And I just typically go onto LinkedIn. I usually start with LinkedIn. I also get a lot from Facebook business groups actually as well. And my goal really is just see, one, what's happening in my network. Are there any conversations that I can get involved in? Is there any news? That's actually LinkedIn news has become my main source of more reliable news, I think, in my opinion. Look, just check to see who I can connect with and grow your network, because LinkedIn, obviously, it always updates your algorithms as well to based on it. Like, the more information you give it, the more educated information it gives you back. So that's what I kind of do. But I know it can be like, say, I do it every day. You don't have to do it every day. There's actually a client of mine, his thing is a Sunday evening, after his dinner, he sits down for an hour at the computer and he bangs away on LinkedIn, and he gets quite an awful lot from it as well. So it's certainly worth doing, but it does obviously take a little bit of time. But the more time you put into something, then the more you get back out of it as well. So it's important to remember that.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Susan. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, and thank you, Quiva. I really appreciate you setting this up. Delighted to be here.
Yeah. So what I do is, after today's webinar, what we'll do is we'll be issuing out the recording that Susan has kindly led us to today. And what I'll do is I'll include Susan's details there as well as the link. We'll have it there afterwards as well. And if you do have any questions like that, or you want us to connect you with Susan, just let us know. So I hope you all have a lovely day, and thank you again so much, Susan. We really appreciate it.
Cheers. Thanks, Mel. Have a good day, everyone, and look forward to connecting with you afterwards.